I'm so excited to have this conversation. This is my mom, and guess how old she is? How old are you?
74.
74. And she's had a business for 50 years. And we thought, why not just have a brutally honest conversation around business, around being a woman in business, around being a mom in business. And I felt like we should just start it off from the Band-Aid off. So, Mom, you probably don't even know, but there's this whole idea of like being a feminine and a soft gal and balance of life. And that's what is the key to success. Thoughts, ideas.
Okay. So my key to life is juggle.
Yeah.
Be a great juggler, get better at juggling, be an Olympian juggler.
Yeah.
And keep training myself to get better and better with every new circumstance. Learn to move, learn to get to the balls faster, and make sure none of them drop. And if they do, pick them up and get right back in the game. So, having 3 kids and a business and staff in my home 24/7, and a husband who also had a business, and there and neighborhood kids over, there is a lot of activity. There's a lot to attend to. And I feel like what my kids learned the most, you and your brothers, they learned how to be adaptable and problem solve.
Totally.
And because I had so much going on, I couldn't just linger in all the problems that came up. I needed to solve them. I needed to teach my kids how to solve problems between them. And I can really see in their adult life, wow, they really learned these skills.
Yeah.
So having that much going on was to my advantage, your advantage, and our whole family's advantage.
Totally. And I think that a lot of it, when I personally think about being raised in that environment, and then also just kind of where the world is today with business, is it stretches your nervous system and your capacity to be able to handle more, right? Because it's like this idea of people wanting these beautiful, bigger lives. Well, it comes with more work and more chaos and more beauty, but you have to be able to deal with a lot of things going on, and I think this idea of like shrinking your life or your capacity or being just everything in flow is just not a reality. Like the reality is life is amazing, and your ability to not react to having a lot on your life plate is what makes it amazing. It's not that there's less to do. And, when I think about growing a business, one of the things I've seen so much for you, and even in my own business growth, really scaling a business is about how much can you handle at the same time and not let things drop, and still push the right things forward and have your brain on straight to be able to do that. And I just think it's like such a different way of orienting. And I feel like back in the day, that was more normal, that you're just dealing with a lot.
Well, I don't know what the population is doing now. All I know is what I did then was not what was usual either.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing now is not usual either for most people my age. They want to retire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm starting a new business. I have still a family that went from 3 kids to married and 5 grandkids. I am still at the bottom of, well, where am I going?
Yeah.
What else can I create now? Now, that means I'm taking on more work, more pressure, more responsibility, because I get more growth, more vitality as a result of taking that on.
Totally.
And, definitely I love going to the beach and swimming in the water and doing all the things that revitalized me. But honestly, having the deep desire I have to really show up for myself, my family, and my work, and all my students, and the whole world actually is like very fulfilling to me.
Totally.
And it's a lot.
Totally.
It's a lot.
Yeah. How do you, I'm curious, because what you said, I feel like a lot of living true to you and how you want to live. And I feel like that's been a huge part of my motherhood and business journey, is getting a lot more honest about that. I really do love my business, and I really do love to work, and I don't want to be a working on nap time mom at all. And I'm curious though, how you've dealt with so much criticism of people not agreeing with so many ways of how you raised us, of how you do business, of how you fed us, of pretty much everything you and dad did came with a lot of criticism. How do you internally deal with that as you follow what feels right?
That's a really good question. I did get a tremendous amount of criticism between family going, you work too much. Other moms going, well, you're too strict with your kids. Other moms going, you're too loose with your kids. Like it just everybody's opinion
Yeah.
about how I lived it was hard for me.
Yeah.
It was really hard. Like it didn't feel good. But what did feel good, and this is what I was always able to do, and it is what I teach, is I was able to connect with myself and say what is needed.
Yeah.
What is needed for me? What's needed for my family, my marriage? What's needed for my family? What's needed for my business?
Yeah.
Now go do that.
Yeah.
And that's what I've always had the ability to do. So I can deal with the criticism, the judgment, and I wouldn't be a pioneer in my field if I let that take me down.
Totally.
I wouldn't be able to do what I've done, and I wouldn't be able to do right now what my dreams are to still do if I let myself try to fit in to any box or any idea of what I think my life should look like at 74 and what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
So I just I take off any blinders, any limitations going, what's possible?
Yeah.
What is actually possible? And I can't look to other people. That's what being a pioneer is. That's what being an entrepreneur is.
Yeah.
It's not copy and pasting it from AI. Entrepreneur. It's like going into the heart and soul of who you are and bringing yourself all the way through.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Totally. And I feel like you modeled that so well, and it's so a part of our family culture of like, go for what you want. And I've really taken that on even for myself, of especially in this last season of life, of finding what do I feel good about? Like if I live really according to what I'm doing. And I think that, in my opinion, I think so many people are so conditioned. They don't even know what they think or want. They know and think what society wants. And so I think it's like you need people around you who are like, whenever I call you to ask you anything, you're like, well, what do you want? And I'm like, just tell me what to do. But it's so great because it forces me to find, I do love my business. I do love growth. I do love everything. I do love being a great mom. And I think that constantly being willing to admit what you are going for and what you want is just so important. And there's always criticism along the path,
Totally.
And it's like being able to like walk through that fire.
Yeah. So yeah, you do call me up and you go, hey, Mom, I'm about to do this workshop. Like, what's your opinion about this? And 98% of the time, I will say, well, what do you want to do? What do you get? Now, I think that's where I really have belief that
Yeah.
And I continually see that happen over and over, that I actually trust your knowing. And you tell me what, and then you start to sort out, I could do this and I could do that. And this is challenging and this is what I'm dealing with. And you sort through it. And then I give you a whole lot of ideas and suggestions and things that you probably won't even use.
Yeah.
But I give you all that I see that I can give you.
Yeah.
So I'm also not afraid of overloading you.
Totally.
And I want to say that's a really important part of business. And it's a part of our relationship too, is like, look, I'm going to give you all of me. And if it's too much, just let me know. And it's one thing you do and your brothers do with me.
Yeah.
They're like, Mom, I got to hop. I'm like, okay, great. Bye.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not afraid to share fully with you. And that's what business is. Business is really just sharing fully.
Totally.
In whatever your product or service is completely sharing and giving. And as far as I'm concerned, it's like once I'm empty and I share, then I'm open and
Yeah.
ready to fill again.
Yeah.
So then I need your input. I need your way. Like, you do things in business I've never even dreamed of doing. I've learned so much from you. And I keep opening up, like, you're my teacher now. Like, you know about marketing and doing podcasts. You do that. I knew nothing about this. I was all word of mouth, referral.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've opened me up to a whole new world. So I'm also open to what you have to give me. And I fully am willing to share everything that I know with you, too.
Yeah.
So it keeps our relationship vital.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's, you know, it's so amazing if you think of it, because it's like the best relationships are, I feel like, what actually makes orienting to business amazing and successful, right? You got to be real and honest and confrontive and initiate and say when things don't work for you. And I feel like that's something we've developed so well, even if it's uncomfortable. You know, it's like, it's like an act of, I always say it's like an act of love to really have, you know, expectations and go for what you want is an act of love. And I feel like that's in business, is it's so much of being willing to confront everything that you want, and also be willing to ask, you know, ask for help and ask for feedback. And then at the same time be like, don't tell me anything. I know, and I just need to like move forward. And it's not such a linear path. And I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like nowadays it's like, it makes it seem like it's so linear, but it's like really the people who make it in business are the ones that have so much dynamicnism to who they are and their ability to learn and grow. And I know for me, a big part has been like constantly popping off the rules of what it means to be a business owner, and especially what it means to be a mom. And, you know, like being modeled by you, I was modeled so much of like, business never stops, motherhood never stops, taking care of yourself, like just whatever your role is, it doesn't stop because the clock hit 5 or 8 p.m. It's like every role is coexisting. Everything is what you want it to be. And you have to find what that is for you.
100%. Yeah. And I just want to say, there are times, you know, as you were growing up, you know, where your bedroom was my office that the staff worked in. And I was ready to like, oh God, maybe I should move out. I have too much going on. Chrissy doesn't have her own room. And I was like, okay, Chrissy, I think I'm going to move my business, my office, to the studio. And then you could have your own room.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be changing with my female staff that's there, you know. And you were like, no, Mom, don't. And I was so shocked. I thought for sure you would be so happy. You were like 13 at the time.
Yeah.
And be, finally I have my own room, you know, because the kids weren't like thrilled with all the movement, all the traffic. And yes, on one hand, on the other hand, I can see like, oh my God, that was the best thing we ever did.
Totally.
And you know, this is part of the same thing of like not just making everything safe and comfortable. Is I remember when our businesses grew and people would say, hey, why don't you guys get a bigger house? And we're like, no way. We don't want a bigger house.
Yeah.
All that will do is put people in separate spaces.
Yeah.
And the fact that my kids need to interact every single day, you and your brothers and the friends and the staff, and hear our conversations and Dad's conversations, business conversations, and everybody hears everything and lives individually and collectively, we're like, no way, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not moving.
Totally.
So, and I'm really glad that I did it that way, because look what you're able to do now. Look at the amount of movement you're able to have.
It's so funny you say that, because I don't like go back to my history regularly in my head, but I'm like, that's my life. Like, my husband is upstairs right now. My daughter's napping and we're filming down here. And it's like, and this is what we do every day. Like everything, it makes sense that that's the family culture I'm creating because it's the one I'm used to, where, you know, and it's funny when so many people, when Summer was so young and so many people have said to me, like, aren't you going to send her to daycare, send her out of the house? And don't you want schooling and like get her out? And granted, she's still young, but I'm like, no, I want to interact with her all day. But I also want to work and I want to like be able to see Cam. And like, I think this dynamic where everything can coexist, and you don't have to have these like segmented part of your life. It just is so much more relaxing because yeah, I just feel like it's like I feel like there's so much pressure in the world to like get it right, like get whatever it is, like the business path or the personal path. And it's like, if you actually just let everything coexist the way it's supposed to coexist, there's like a divine orchestration of it all. And I really do just like trust that and know that that's like part of it. And it comes with more work. Like, yeah, would it be, I remember someone said, you know, you're going to be able to work so much easier when your daughter's at the house and you can just work. And I'm like, I probably could, but
You could.
but I'm not rushing out my house every day, and I never will be. Like it's just not a life I want. Is that segmentation?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that's what makes success is like nothing needs an end because everything is just coexisting.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe the future of like families and entrepreneurs and business owners is it's like there's not a time structure to everything. Like so many parents have so many rules of like, I don't work at this hour. And it's like, fine, totally fine. But it's like, you're running a business. Sometimes you got to get things done. And sometimes, but also you have weeks off or time.
Right.
You could do whatever. Like there's so much. I just think not living in like a rule way of orienting is so helpful.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
It takes a fluid mind.
Yeah.
Like your mind has to be able to move in a lot of different ways. And at any point in time, you can go, okay, what's most needed right now? What's my top priority?
Totally.
Is it my health? Is it my, do I need to drink water right now? Do I need to, I need to respond to this text message. I need to handle my child over here. Or I need to talk to, a neighbor. Like you are able to, and you really have the skill, you're able to pause. And it takes, I always say you have to slow down to speed up.
Yeah, you do.
Because you have to be able to pause and reorganize yourself and then go in whatever direction is most needed.
Totally.
That takes an incredibly fluid mind, and you have tremendous discipline.
Yeah.
Because you've been trained how to follow through and not just do what you want when you feel like it.
Well, yeah, because of my trackers.
Yeah, you had so many trackers.
Okay, just to give you guys perspective.
Yeah, this is so funny.
How I grew up is we had health trackers as kids. I mean, how young were we when you started?
Health trackers, attitude trackers.
No, as I was going to include, but how young were we when we started?
I don't know, maybe 5.
Okay, so like 5.
You were 5.
Maybe. And on a health tracker, it would have, did we have our green juice? Did we have a good attitude for the day? Did we process our feelings or like move our feelings through? Did we clean our room? Like it was, and every day we had to fill it out every single day. Like that was what we did. And so it's like we weren't allowed to do something if that wasn't filled out. But I think it really trained me on also, like, I just want to say this piece about attitude, it is such a little thing, changes your life. Like, if you can have a good attitude about whatever you're faced with, your day, whatever it is, like, it is literally life-changing what becomes possible when you have a good attitude. And I think it just trained me to be like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter what the day or the circumstance, you can be grateful, you can have a great attitude. And instilling that in kids at like 5 is amazing.
Yeah, well, kids are really trainable. I just want to tell you a little story because this exemplifies it.
Yeah.
There's 2 things. There's task and attitude.
Yeah.
So one of the things kids have to learn is task. Like you have to get dressed. You have to learn how to shut the door. So many little things that we don't think of because we do them automatically.
Sure.
We have to learn the task. So kids need to learn the task. But after the task, they need to learn the attitude.
Totally.
Now, the attitude is how you do it.
Yeah.
So I remember one of your brothers, Jimmy, just slamming the door. And I was like, hey, the door got shut. Good job. But I said, go back and shut the door. And he had to do it like, I don't know, maybe like 20 times.
Oh my God.
Till he did it with a good attitude.
Yeah.
Because he was so mad that he had to do it with a good attitude. I just happen to remember him, but I did it with all of you.
Yeah.
You know, I did problem solving with all of you, because until you learn attitude, you are a victim to all your feelings.
Totally.
And that's when I'm talking about, oh, you have a fluid mindset, it's because you have so much discipline of task and you have discipline of attitude. And I know a lot of what you teach people in business is, one, to get a lot of tasks done when they don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And two, how to have a good attitude about doing jobs that you don't like doing in your work, because everyone has jobs they don't like doing.
Totally.
And you've learned attitude. It is a trained skill.
Yeah.
And you're not pushing down your feelings. You're acknowledging, I don't like this job.
Yeah.
And I
it.
can do it with a great attitude. And then once you start doing things with a great attitude, it's kind of like you start liking it. It's now, it can become fun.
Totally. Totally. And I love that you said being a victim to your feelings, because I think that's the thing that's like given me ultimate freedom in life, is not ever letting feelings control anything that I do, you know? And I think that that's like the beauty of life, is that you can have feelings, you can have circumstances, you can have a day, you can have a lot of unknown, you can have a lot of things, but that ability to hold your mind in a clear state of, I can still see things as they are. I can still be grateful for things as they are. I can still have a good attitude for things as they are. I just think is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to be committed as a parent, and you had to be committed as a child, and now as an adult in your own life, it's your choice.
Totally.
That you draw on everything you've learned, and that you continue to like train yourself.
Totally.
And you're taking it on now.
Yeah.
And you're spreading it everywhere you go.
Thanks, Mom.
And that's, that's to your credit.
Yeah.
Because you cannot.
Totally. Totally. Well, this was amazing. And this is just the start of more of this. So we're so happy to be able to share this. And thank you, Mom, for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Yay.
Thanks for having me. And I look forward to sharing more.
More and more coming.